Warning, explicit content. This material may not be suitable for children. Listener discretion is advised.
Work all day. Nothing comes free. You gotta find a way. Gotta be willing to go put in some elbow grease. Cause you know nothing that you get in this life comes free. You gotta work all day. Gotta pay these bills. Ain't no time to waste. Yeah.
Hello, miners. Hello, podcast listeners. Welcome into Mining Minds. Welcome in to The Face. Sitting here with my man, Dino Brunson.
What's happening?
This is the 200th episode. Got to first and foremost thank all you guys out there for making this happen. All you guys listening, sharing, liking, swiping right, and sponsors, business parts. Man, it's been an amazing ride so far.
200 episodes, man. I don't even know how many hours of audio content that we have with people from the industry, their personal stories, and I think for me, reflecting on 200 is, it might not seem like that much to people, but man, the stories that we've heard, the experiences that we've got, just off a crazy business idea and the support of the mining industry, man, I'm with you. I'm super grateful. Yeah. And as we sit down and are able to kind of digest, one of the big takeaways from the podcast itself is just reflecting. So you and I had talked about, want to do something like this or something like that for our 200th. And thought we'd sit down and maybe reflect on the past 200, walk through maybe where we're currently at and then our path forward, give people an idea of what's to come. And we're here for the long haul. Yeah, we're here for a long time, not a good time. Or maybe both. But I will say from 100 to 200, man, there's been a huge learning curve for me, not from the people, because the people are always the most interesting thing for me, but from a business perspective and looking at the mining industry as a collective whole, right? There's nothing that separates us, whether you're a vendor, whether you're an advocate, whether you're just a person in the industry. We are the people that keep the industry alive, right? And to be able to connect those dots. I think it was episode 167 for me when we talked about staying on the path. I think there's a lot that drives me with that, but from 100 to 200, we've got a chance to go to Minnesota. We got a chance to go to Arizona. The opportunities for us and the trust that people have in our podcast and the voice in the industry that we are, from 100 to 200 has been awesome. Yeah, I would agree. I would say that and we've talked about this quite a bit, but it's turned from a hobby to truly a business. And then going forward, like you said, we've got opportunities to go to quite a few different places. I know you've traveled around a lot recently and this year. And throw me in the mix of that, man. What you guys probably don't, or what you guys definitely don't see, is the back end travel for our kids and with our family and what our significant others are doing. So in my case, my wife travels quite a bit too. So there was a 6-week period here recently that she was home 1 week. I was gone for 2 weeks. I was home for 1 week. We just kept crossing paths. So we have the privilege to go to a lot of, I would say, trade shows and conventions and associations and things like that. We get to sit and kind of absorb and listen to what people are saying. And it's often interesting, and I don't say this to be cocky or braggy or anything like that. What a lot of these people are doing or trying to do, we stumbled upon doing, if that makes sense. Well, I think it just comes natural, man. Let's face it, you and I we're talkers. But it's more than just talking. I think the authenticity, like sure. we were raised in a good family to understand and listen with intent that most people don't have. And really in the last 100 episodes that we've had, even going into the women in mining, a lot of the trips that we've taken this last year, or all of the trips that we've taken, have been self-funded, or we've had some help, minimally with some sponsors to get us there. Which has helped our visibility huge, yeah. Right? But I do think, yes, you're right. We stumbled upon it, but we're a different kind of people, man. We listen. We're minors. We understand it. We're not subject matter experts, but we're getting the voice of everybody else out there.
I guess what I was getting at is that people want to talk about sharing stories and driving industry change. And again, and we'll start doing more of this. We have to get permission, but the brass ends that we get from people sharing, people talk about mental health. We're actually out there advocating for physical and mental health for people, and people brassing in and having conversations with us. You want to talk about workforce development, throwing a workforce development panel together to think outside the box, actually finding solutions. We've put together different things, and we're going to continue to put together different things. But I guess my point is it makes me feel proud that we're supported by the industry. It seems like more and more people are tuning in and dialing in and getting involved. But I guess on top of that is I guess what I should say is the path that we are on from idea, concept to actually business and then driving it into the future makes me feel good, man.
I agree.
I don't know if that makes sense.
It 100% does. But to dive into it even further, I think the opportunities that we've been provided going to the Mind Safety and Health Conference and being able to present, we got asked to present a couple different topics, right? Mental and physical health in the industry. And you and I took a different approach to it. It's not death by PowerPoint. It's real personal experience. And also the people that we've had on the podcast, episode 111, Alan Franklin. I mean, that kind of opened the door for us, like from an emotional standpoint and understanding, like these people are sharing real stories that real miners have struggles with, or everybody does. And it took Alan to be brave to do that, but it's opened a door for us to be able to utilize him as a resource, but also the companies that supported him during that, right? To where I don't know if we would have been able to authentically talk about what we did in our presentation if we hadn't have gone through that experience. So we've had a lot of growth in this last 100 podcasts.
I would say, yeah, more than just this 100 podcasts this last year. So, I mean, we're talking about the 200th episode, but really it's, and a lot of you guys know where we started and where we're at right now. But when you guys listen to the 200th episode, you'll also be able to watch the 200th episode.
Yeah.
We're going to video. It's we're still stumbling through some of that. So
you've been putting a lot of work into it, man. I mean, don't sugarcoat it, because at the end of the day, you've been grinding. And I think the people out there need to understand that we're doing this all by ourselves, or you're doing this all by yourself. I have all these crazy ideas and you're just trying to wrangle them in, but you're doing the work. You're doing this full time.
Yeah.
And you're juggling kids' schedules and your wife's schedule. I mean, life's happening, but you're dominating. And so everything that you see, it's not done by anybody else at this point. It's done by you.
Yeah.
And we're there.
Yeah. And so I guess I'll add to that. Be patient. We're getting better. We're actually, because our network's expanding, people are coming in, giving us tips, to saying, hey man, try this, or have you thought about that? So we have a little bit of a different setup from an equipment hardware standpoint. And because of that, we have to take a couple different routes, but I don't want to get too far in the weeds there, other than to say, thanks, man. We're all here doing it. And I guess I want to know, as we sit here and kind of BS, what do you think? What has been the biggest takeaway from not just the last 100, but the last 200 episodes? The traction from real people. I think once we have an opportunity presented to us, we're able to tell our own story. And so I would say the belief in what we're doing has been over 200 episodes is what I'm taking out of it. I mean, going to Minnesota, they didn't know us. We visited over LinkedIn or email, and we set up a trip. And man, we left there with a whole new family and a whole new understanding of culture outside of Nevada. And we're able to share that, to where I think the belief of what people are believing in us and in what we're doing has been the best for me. I would agree. I would also say in my opinion, understanding things from different lenses. I used to go in, and I still have a pretty strong opinion about things, and we still conversate about stuff, but being able to listen to somebody else's story and see it from a different angle, that always continues to surprise me, man. And then I think the other thing is, and this is to compliment you and myself, and more so you, is I don't realize, I guess I take for granted how much we actually know about mining. Now, specifically gold mining, we're good, but this is where we're learning the coal, we're learning the critical minerals, the coppers, all those different things. So realizing that we actually have learned a ton along the way, we've continued to educate ourselves along the way. And so we can have some of those conversations.
Well, that's the best part about it, Matt, is that we know that at the end of the day, everybody is still learning in this life, right? Nobody is the true subject matter expert. And if they are, we get a chance to sit and listen and learn ourselves and expand our network to be able to hopefully connect some of these people to make the industry better.
And that's probably what I was getting at, is realizing how many connections and knowledge and just stuff. It's cool to go to some of these conventions for me, because the 200 people plus, because we've had podcasts where we've done, the Glizzy Golf or the SME over in Ely. When you sit down with 10 people in one day, yeah, they might be 4 or 5 or 6, minute long segments, but it is pretty cool to have 200 plus people. I think we're over 400 plus hours of content. And be able to walk
probably 4,000 hours of editing.
There's a lot of editing. But going into an area and catching up with your friends, I think that's been to me, because every one of these people, and I think Clarenda and Sean, or I think the Galleons, or you know what I mean? That not only are friends, but have became closer friends, and just different folks.
Guys like Rodrigo Barbosa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy had one of the most amazing stories about culture in Brazil. You know what I mean? With ore minerals. Getting to meet people like that, I mean, they stumble upon us. I mean, obviously they're trying to support or, showcase their business. But at the end of the day, we get an opportunity to walk away with a new friend.
Yeah.
Because our podcast is different. We're not focused on just the mineral. We're focused on the people.
Yep. Sponsoring this episode of the podcast, JSR Fleet Performance, supporting the people who keep mining moving. If you're a part of a training group or managing equipment operator development, you know it's not just about running gear, it's about running it right. JSR Fleet Performance works alongside training teams to extend the life of your fleet, reduce costly breakdowns, and make sure your operators understand how to get the most out of every machine. With customized training support, maintenance insights, and real-world in-field education, JSR helps surface operations boost reliability, safety, and productivity from the pit to the shop. So whether you're building the next generation of mining professionals, looking to audit what you currently have going on, or looking to help develop your workforce, brass in at Mining Minds LLC and bring JSR Fleet Performance into your corner. Well, let's jump into it, dude. So from a cultural podcast, I mean, maybe throw out a couple. You said Rodrigo Barbosa. Who else has maybe stuck out to in your mind?
The workplace or workforce development podcast that we had. When we went through that, I was skeptical, right? I just didn't know how it was going to be laid out, how the conversation was going to flow. It was just going to be different. It turned out awesome. I mean, we've got industry experts that are well known through the industry that were willing to sit down with us to really dive into this. I mean, and we could take that to the next step. That there was one of them that I took a lot away from. Another one that I took a lot away from was Vern. I will always be very grateful for that guy. Not only from he's donated a bunch of stuff to our memorabilia room, but whether he knows or he doesn't know, the mentorship, just for him being here and being involved in what we do. He listens to every show. He sends us an email to say, hey, keep him guessing. But truly grateful for him. We've got, we're starting up Miners Poetry for the Elko Expo in 26. And that really started with him writing a poem and just sharing it with us.
Yeah. And before we jump into that, maybe we'll just kind of keep going down this rabbit hole. because I do want to get to the exciting stuff that we do have coming up and how you guys out there can get involved, jump in, give us your ideas, because you're 100% right. That's what spurs us when you talk about Vern Brassenon all the time. John Metzger is another one that will
Yeah.
give us his 2 cents. And, so there's probably, I would say 5 or 6 people that constantly reach out to us and go, hey, have you thought about this? Conway Fraser's another one, man.
Conway's been huge, man. And again, I think he came out to kind of quote unquote vet us a little bit, but he had an opportunity to see us in our element as far as family and friends. And I think they understand that, right? Like he comes out and now he's a friend of ours. We're on a group text chain, and it's like if my phone buzzes 7 times in a row, I know it's Conway.
7's light, dude.
I mean, we've had an opportunity to work with guys like Rich Mallon.
Yeah.
With heavy metal, they've got such a cool thing that they get to do in the oil sands that he's developing the business down here. And Rich is just a solid individual, right? But I think when people look at businesses in the industry, they go, I've got to have this business relationship, and we bring it down to the personal level, and they understand that, no, it's family.
Yeah. Well, and that's an interesting thing. And I'll note this because one of my highlights, when now you said Rich, just reminded me of equipment, but is doing the dozer rodeos with Lee Bear, man.
Oh yeah.
Those were fun as hell. We got the community of the group, the Northern Nevada involved and Southern Nevada. People were coming up from
got to run that thing, dude.
Yeah, I know.
That thing was awesome. I mean, honestly, it was a smooth dozer. Just being in the cut and getting a chance to feel how much that how much muck that dozer could push. It was cool to see Ryan Ballas out there. He's an awesome operator. He brought his family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where the opportunities that we've had have been awesome. Super grateful for all of it. You know what I mean? Because it could all go away tomorrow. But man, it's been a cool ride.
Well, and what I'll say is this starts with just ideas and us not having any red flags and going, let's throw something at the wall and see what sticks. I'm going to hit on 2 things with that because it reminded me, we now have the opportunity to present in front of people, and you guys will hear these coming up on the next couple podcasts coming out. So I don't want to ruin it too much, but we did presentation where Victor Ortiz jumped in, and it was compliance versus conversation.
That was probably one of the best things ever, in my opinion, that we had a structure going in. We were going to mind the plan of our regular presentation, and sitting down over breakfast, we said, hey, let's try this.
Yeah, let's pivot.
And Victor pivoted with us. And it worked out well. Victor, very well respected, safety professional in the industry. He did the keynote speech that morning, and he was like, yeah, I'll give you guys a hand. You know what I mean? But if you hadn't grown up in the industry with Victor, we would have never have had that opportunity to where. That's why I referenced Staying on the Path has been one of the best podcasts for me one of the best podcasts over the 200 is because we really are on the path that I believe that we're destined to be, man.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess my point in that was we take an idea, and if something else comes up, we pivot and try that. And so the LeBaire thing was kind of like that in a similar way. Like we had an idea and then we kind of molded it into something else. When you don't have as much red tape and you know how to, I guess, mine a plan once you do have it, right?
Yeah.
And you're not afraid to be vulnerable a little bit, dude. There's some freaking phenomenal things that have came out of our podcast from that mindset.
Well, I will tell you, we've got companies reaching out to us to help them throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right now, dude, I work. One of the things that I do definitely want to mention is Arnold Machinery and them understanding the just the industry things that we are doing, right? And they're in full support of what we do. They've been a supporter of us since I've been here for the 2.5 years, to where. Yeah, we get a lot of good advice, from the marketing guy helping us out as far as video and things like that, to where, there's been a lot of cool things.
I would agree. The second part of that statement I was going to make was that we don't do business, and I say this often, but I guess more and more people are going, don't you want my money? Don't you? Money's great. We need it to survive, and yeah, I need to eat. We need to eat. But I will say, from the personal side, if you guys know anything about us, is we're going to build a relationship before we do anything else. We've turned away probably a lot of good opportunities because we're relationship first.
Well, it's not about the dollar. It's the right thing to do.
That's one thing I should say that I'm proud of, is that we've had opportunity to do other things. And doesn't mean that to me, I'm also a person of like, maybe just right now is not the right time. But having said that, for you guys out there, know that we actually, the people that we're doing business with, those are people that we now are called, for me, they're friends.
Yeah, they're our friends for sure. And at the end of the day, even turning the page on, all the people that we know in the industry, right? We talk to so many businesses that are wanting to, quote unquote, sell their product. And it's like, we have an opportunity to hear their solution on the show. People get a chance to listen to it and kind of vet it before they have a salesman go to site, right? And we've had those calls to where, hey, how do I get in touch with this guy? Because I listened to your podcast and it was, I think that solution can work for my property.
So what is the best solution that you've heard out there that we've got to sit down with people?
I don't know, man. There's
or a good one, because I'm going to bring up, it's not necessarily a solution, but maybe an outside the box, is Torqn. TOQRN, right? TORQN, sorry.
Yeah.
They're a social media platform for equipment.
You follow equipment.
Yeah, I think that's so badass, dude.
Well, the vision of it, I mean, really from the marketing side of things, when they get to ramp up and really put the marketing behind that is going to be, it can be a game changer, right? To where you're following equipment globally, to where you as a maintenance professional can see what problems they're having globally compared to what you're having. And then there's a fix for it, but there's also a safety side of it. You combine that with somebody like Michael Hartley with Internology and all of that data being collected, and you're following that equipment. You've got a one-stop shop for global equipment, whether it's tier 2, tier 4 engines, different cylinder, whatever it might be, right?
Yeah.
Michael Zolotov with Razor Labs.
Yeah.
That was a good podcast. And as we get the chance to listen to other people in the industry, it's like, that would work well here, to where we've had the pieces of the puzzle on the table. And now it's cool because we're starting to put the puzzle together. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll get to be that resource and help. Like you said, there's a couple different avenues that we actually get to be a part of or involved with. And that is because it's, again, these guys, Rodrigo Barbosa is a good one. Trampus Cook's another good one. They're not just on the podcast and then go home. I mean, we're in contact with these guys and how's things going? Merry Christmas, Happy Father's Day, whatever it is.
Yeah. Outside of regular life, I mean, we're still talking to these dudes every week, to where it's
sponsoring this episode of the podcast, our good friend, Jimmy Ewing and Motor Mission Machine and Radiator. When your machine overheats, there's no downtime to waste, especially in mining. That's why Mining Minds recommends Motor Mission Machine and Radiator, your go-to experts in industrial and heavy equipment radiator repair, engine and cylinder head rebuilding, and precision machine shop work. Founded in 1949 and serving the Western United States for over 50 years, Motor Mission handles it all. Radiators and coolers from passenger vehicles to massive mining shovels, and full machine shop services like honing, line boring, and crankshaft balancing. They'll pick it up, tear it down, clean it right, and test it on custom stands before it leaves their shop. The bottom line is, when you talk in best in class, that's Motor Mission Machine and Radiator. Big or small, they can do them all. So if you had maybe a impactful, something that you can remember podcast from an emotional standpoint, maybe hearing somebody's story and going, wow, I got two that stick in my mind.
Well, I'm going to go back to Alan Franklin, man.
Yeah.
That was probably the most impactful for me. I was living his story as he was telling it, and it was, I wanted to cry with him. And the other one was Sam Fonga. It was like, she is just a beautiful soul. And to hear her story, man, it was like, don't cry right now, man. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. So mine was Letha. One of them was Letha. I enjoy Letha. And she's got a special place in my heart. So I enjoyed that one. But Jenny Davis too, man.
Another good one.
She had a freaking phenomenal story.
Yeah, well, it's hard to pick, right? Because we've had
Clorinda and
yeah. I mean, what Clorinda was dealing with while her husband's flying around the country, high grading or bootlegging parts into Chile or whatever. It's like these are things you don't hear that are happening in the industry, dude, that we're fortunate enough that people are willing to share their stories. And we don't take for granted one podcast, you know what I'm saying? And I think that takes me back to you and I, we were raised like that. We're listeners and we're genuine when we do it, to where I think where we can get better is just asking better questions, you know what I mean? To maybe dive a little deeper.
Oh, I think so too. And believe me, guys, we've digested this. Is it too long? Is it too short? Is it this? Should we change this up? And we've made a few changes along the way. You guys have seen those. I think we're settling in on where we're at. And it's not to say there's not going to be more changes, but to look back, that's why I wanted to have this conversation, is because there are so many of these podcasts. Jesse Herrera, Chewy Herrera, he's out starting his own podcast now. Doing his own thing. I want to support that. I'm super proud of him getting after it and trying something. The Chata podcast. Yeah. So dude, it's cool to see how people are moving along in the industry. Having said that, if we've done 200, there's 600 people that still want to come on the podcast on a regular.
100%.
So I want you guys to know that it's kind of like a fuel tank that's never going to get empty for us, because as we continue to meet more people, it's like, I want to talk to that person, or they want to talk to us. Or so finding the time and looking forward is something that we're actually putting a ton more focus and strategy on this year. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. But I think one thing to note for the audience is we are mobile. I mean, we started out as, hey, we're going to take all the stuff out of our studio and wrap it up and head down to a golf tournament and podcast. Now we're actually traveling with our gear. Our hopes are to podcast from an underground mine or overlook at the pit with different people and hear their stories. We've done women in mining. We've done MSHA, or mine safety and health. We've done some very cool events, but even out of those events, now we're being asked to present at mine sites around different topics, to where we're not only the voice inside the industry, but we're trusted.
Yeah. Well, going up to US Steel and touring their facility, dude.
That was probably the best week ever, dude. Honestly, it was the best weather, the best people. And I don't think you can fake that. And that's why we fit in so well up there, is that it was genuine. The culture of the mining industry and even the towns was amazing. If it didn't get cold up there in the winter, I'd probably move there.
Well, it's still pretty warm up there.
And Julie is just an amazing person. You know what I mean? Talia, she's awesome too. Her kids are great.
Oh yeah. I got a big rubber ducky from her kids still sitting in the house.
Oh heck yeah. Well, we got to put it on the table once we get the video rolling full time.
Yeah. And Kristen, so
Yep.
Kristen Vaki was an amazing support up there, getting us to a couple different locations and having a couple different conversations that we wouldn't have had. And again, knowledge. So IRRR with Ida, I'm going to mess it up, Rukavina.
Yeah.
But something as simple as putting signs up that say mining's done this, basically, right?
Yeah. How did they say that sign was? Because we should probably start that out here. This is provided by mining.
Yeah, provided by mining or something to that. We gotta get a picture. But point being, it's like those little snippets of information, man, that spurs our brain to go, how else can we do this? And what we're I guess, I want to celebrate our past. I want to reflect on the things that we have. One of the questions that people constantly always ask is, what if you could give me a couple podcasts, what would you listen to? So that's why I wanted to reflect a little bit. The second reason was, I'm thankful for you, man. You and I lock horns a lot of times, and we battle back and forth. Something as simple as presenting. If you're trying to present with another person, you've got one idea and he's got not, so it's life. It is what it is, but stay in the path and being able to continue this, being the voice inside the industry, man, has been pretty cool. So thank you.
Oh, no, let me do the same. Dude, I don't know.
You can't double stamp a triple stamp, Lloyd.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say thank you, but I will say, dude, watching you develop into a business owner and own what you're doing, super proud of you.
Well, it's it takes an army. You guys out there supporting is really the third portion of that. Unbelievable amount of support that we continue to get. I can't say thank you enough. But let's maybe step back or step forward. and talk about the future, man. Sponsoring this episode of the podcast, Liebherr Mining. When it comes to mining, you need equipment that works as hard as you do, day in and day out. That's why Mining Minds is proud to partner with our good friends, Liebherr Mining. For more than 50 years, Liebherr has been delivering a full line of mining solutions. Ultra-class haul trucks, powerful hydraulic excavators, dozers, and cutting-edge technology systems, all built to maximize productivity, lower operating costs, and keep your people safe. So whether it's moving massive volumes of material, tackling the toughest overburden, or integrating digital fleet management, Liebherr designs each machine with efficiency, durability, and sustainability in mind. That's Liebherr Mining. Click the links on the episode notes to find out more today. What do we got coming up? So as you guys listen to this podcast, we got some presentations coming up at this, some associations over in Utah. We're looking at going to Tucson here shortly. Got to catch up with Hector Dino Jean too. He was another good podcast.
So we're going to be doing something with Epiroc at their rebuild facility. We're going to be capturing media content, but also capturing some really great interviews or podcasts with the people that help build Epiroc, right? I mean, we're hoping to get Jess Kindler on the show, the key account manager for the rebuild facility in Arizona. We want to talk about Epiroc just dropped their 1,000th drill into Freeport, which is cool. I think
It's a big deal, man.
we've got a really good idea to get us quote unquote influencers or advocates for the industry in one room and talk about what we're all hearing collectively about how to make the industry better.
Maybe what we'll do is all go through some of these things and you can talk about them or whatever else. But so let's start with first and foremost. We're not just going to places anymore. We're getting involved. We're standing up. I mean, NVMA was another one where that kind of was a switcheroo, but was able to jump up and talk about storytelling. We're doing that more and more. So we're happy to be the advocates and the voice inside the industry if you guys are happy to have us. We're working with Women in Mining for 2026 a conference coming up.
We're working with NVMA and the OCO Expo to help open the show and be more integrated into these shows and not just put baby in the corner like they called it when we were at the MSHA conference. So I do believe the credibility and the belief is rising, right?
Well, so talk to me about the talk to me about the Elko Expo, because we're working with Kimberly there. And we've got a couple concepts, maybe leave names out of it right now. And
yeah, we've all we did is throw some stuff out the wall, with help with Vern or by Vern. And really we're driving it together for the mining poetry. We're going to have what our hopes are to have all the school kids here in Elko County before they get out of school, be able to write a poem about mining. I mean, and their parents, same thing. And they'll send them all in. Every one of them will get read. We'll call some of them out to actually read at the Elko Expo, which I think that's going to be super cool. I think it'll be a different element.
To kind of kick off family days, because that's what, or community days rather is what I should call it, is what it's called. But Friday is community days for the Elko Mine Expo. And they were looking how to get people engaged a little bit more. Vern had a phenomenal idea. That really started with Vern sending us some poetry, Dino and I sharing it online, that turning into a song, more people relating to that, having conversations, brassing in again. And I think Vern took the idea and said, what do you guys think about doing something like this? Actually, it started, I think Vern and Conway were talking about, what about doing something like this at the expo, and really manifested that idea into now we'll go from 9 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's going to be your elementary kids, your middle school kids, your high school kids, anybody that's out
minors
out and in the workforce. And then we're looking at having a spouse section, right? Poetry, songs, things like that I guess what we found is that is an outlet for people in the mental health side of things. They're able to release a little bit through poetry and writing things like tell a story through poetry.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what we're going to be doing in 2026. So June, you guys get your pencils ready because they have a big concert the night before. So the day after, when you're all hungover, come over and read some poetry or listen to it. But the other thing we get to do with the expo this year is open up the conference.
Yeah.
So we will be the opening act for that, and we're going to do past, present, and future. So we'll have 3 guests, and it'll be a panel podcast with a live audience. Essentially, is how it's going to be. That's
going to be crazy different, crazy new. But what I take out of that is the belief that that the industry has in us to be able to do something like this. These are important events. There's important messages that we as an industry want to get out. But being asked to be involved and being able to throw some stuff at the wall, this is sticking to this point right now. But having influential leaders openly talk and be vulnerable to a live audience and have a real discussion about where we're at in our region is going to be huge. You know what I mean? And for me, we're just lucky enough to get to sit down and be a part of it all.
That's what I was going to say.
Know?
Yeah.
And I will say it. I've got to say thanks to Amanda Hilton, because to this point, we've been trying to get her on the show for the last 4 years, and time will work itself out. Things are going to happen when they're supposed to happen, but
last 2 were on us though.
Yeah. But I guess the credibility, Amanda's a very well-known lady in the industry, and she wants to make sure what she's putting out for the industry is the best of the best. Right. And I think being able to do this, she's showing us that she believes in what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a good individual. So stay tuned to maybe a little foreshadow or a little bit of forecasting, but we are looking to catch up with her again one of these days and get her on.
Yeah.
Couple other things we're working on. So you guys will, like I said, obviously realize we're going to video. So we will have a YouTube and a Rumble channel. Working through, when you say you have video, it's like you said you had audio. We have it, but we're working to perfect that. So that's going to be a work in progress, but we're I would say 80% there. We're understanding how to do a lot of the things. It's taken us a little bit longer because, so again, you go alone, but the video part of it's going to be super cool. We're going to be able to, like you said, bring these companies in. And we're talking about it with like Michael Hartley and Internology is going, hey, can you give us a demo? And then putting that on our YouTubes and our Rumble account or pages and allowing you guys to check it out for yourself. Again, it'd be a visual vetting process where we could ask the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, hopefully this helps those businesses not have to have a sales pitch. They can talk open and honestly about their business. And you and I get to ask dumb questions because we don't know,
right.
And I think that helps the listeners that are the miners out there or the people making decisions like, oh, I'm glad those guys asked that question because now I understand, and that's one of the best things we get to do.
Oh, I agree.
Because Michael Hartley was talking way over my head when he started. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? And then he dumbed it down for us, but it was like, man, what a cool solution.
Well, and much like a lot of this, again, we've mentioned it on many podcasts, but one of us usually goes in with some research done on the said guest, but the other one comes in blind for that reason, right? So you get somewhat of an educated conversation and somewhat of I'm fresh off the streets and need to know how this works. So I think that's the other thing that's a little bit unique about us is we try to hit it from different angles and go from there. I want to announce that it'll be either very first of the year or even in December. We're coming out with our safety podcast. It's going to be a 20 to 40 minute segment, not very long. We're hoping to have Jim Hoover there with us every time. He's going to sit in as our old friend and subject matter expert. And, he's been with the state of Nevada as a regulator or MSHA, field inspector. He's got years in the game. He's just a well-rounded ball of knowledge. And we're going to call it the Safe Word. So stay tuned for the Safe Word podcast segment. But on top of that, Dino mentioned it earlier, we're going to shoot to do a quarterly panel discussion. I think the next one we have is going to be either social media influencers like we talked about or mining media influencers, whatever you want to dub it. And then the next one's going to be around supply chain. Sometimes it's getting those things put together and wrapping it all in. But we've got some phenomenal ideas and phenomenal people like Jessica Scanlon that's interested in coming in and kind of partnering with some of that stuff. So,
well, one of the things that we've talked about over our podcast, for the listeners that are active and they listen every week, is we've said it. Everybody's trying to shoot the elephant in a different spot. What you and I are trying to do is build that network and bring people together to start shooting the elephant in one spot to where we can get it taken down, right? And to where that, with the podcast of the influencers or advocates that we're wanting to bring together, we're all hearing different parts of, whether it's geology or new mines starting or the equipment in different parts of the world. You and I are the people. Mr. Rockwell's going to be, the TikTok, educational safety piece, to where we're all hearing different things, to where we can get that brought together. I think the singular message that we're able to deliver to the mining community is going to be a benefit to whether you're a mine operator, superintendent, whatever it might be, there's tidbits in these podcasts that you're able to implement at your sites to either make it more safe, more efficient, or understand your employees better.
Yeah. And what I should say about the safety podcast for sure is that I might not be here sometimes. Dino might not be here sometimes, but we're going to do a monthly one of those to try to keep the ball rolling, get content out to you guys. And the reason for that is we struggle with scheduling. The biggest thing is both his and I schedule, but on top of that, guest schedules. And sometimes life throws curveballs at you. But we realize that, hey, we have an opportunity to still stay in front of you guys. Having said that, whether it's for any of these podcasts we're talking about, because I haven't even announced the other one, but panel discussions, if you guys have different topics that you want to hear, I said supply chain and procurement. That's been one that a lot of people want to talk about. Actually, was emceeing at the ExxonMobil and NVMA Mining into the Future event. And they had a panel of people from the supply chain. And I think we're going to do something similar, but talk about vendors on site. We're going to talk about supply chain issues and tariffs and different things. So we have that one on deck. We have the social media influencers one on deck.
I would like to throw a challenge out, though, to the listeners when it comes to the safety podcast. I think for our listeners to brass in and go, hey, I want to know a little bit more about this subject. This is a very cool educational piece that we're trying to build to where we do have a subject matter expert coming in that has got years in the game that is able to give you exactly, instead of just his interpretation or, what's gonna push your project along.
Yeah. So we have ideas right now is MSHA 101 and Investigations 101, the delusions of safety, which is something that I conjured up years ago. But the idea spawned from, and I'll be really honest, is Jim used to be my supervisor back in the day. And as well as like a Victor and a handful of other people we've had on the podcast. And what Jim would do each week is send out a picture, a citation, a standard, and he'd make us think about, hey, what's this saying? What's this doing? So for example, there's a picture there and he says, what's the citation? How would you write it? And we'd have the week, and then we'd sit down at the end of the week and we'd all discuss it. We're looking to do something similar, maybe not all the time, but put it out there on our social medias, let you guys digest it, give your 2 cents, feedback, questions, and then sit down in a group setting here or with Jim and let him kind of explain the X's and O's of how this plays out, along with our experiences and questions.
Well, and to double down on that, Jim works with you on your consulting side of things as well, to where not only will we talk about it here, but Jim's available to come out to site and do some of these mock settings, live with you to help educate your new safety leaders or even the mine site as a whole to keep you, how do you say, compliant, know?
And that's one thing that I'm going to get there, but remind me of the consulting side, because we're not even diving into that portion of it yet. So when you say, hey, you're a full-time podcaster, no, I edit quite a bit, but there's so many other things in the tank.
Yeah.
The last segment that we're going to start running, and it'll be bi-weekly, will be a news segment. And for me, this came again because of scheduling. Like, hey, we can get something out there. We can do something. But really, to be quite frank, is we had the mill, which was the rumor mill. There's 2 episodes you guys can go back and listen to, and they were on the Newmont Barrick merger a handful 5 years ago, whatever it's been now.
Yeah. 2018, 2019.
And so just as of recent, I should say, there's been some conversation around Newmont coming in and looking at Barrick. And so to me, I went, why are we not talking about this? And it might not always be that big, and it might not always be regional. Maybe it's something global. Maybe it's something different. But that's going to be a real quick 15-minute segment. Let's catch up. Let's talk about some things for you guys to think about and maybe question, or if you guys have some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's the cool part about what we get to do is there's so much to talk about, right? Whether it's gossip on the street, and because that's one thing that we've heard since we've been in the industry is, if you haven't heard a rumor by noon, start one. But when it's posted publicly on LinkedIn, and you're able to see that, I mean, and I'm talking specifically to the Newmont Barrick talks.
Yeah.
You could see the spark in people's eyes here in our region to go, what if, and to be able to have a conversation around that, to throw out some more what ifs.
Well, not only that, but we've not talked about even a lot on the critical minerals and how the geopolitical side of things have played a role,
or how we don't have the process facilities or the refining capabilities so we can mine it all and get it all out there. But all we're doing is sending more overseas, to where there's a lot of handcuffs that the government's putting on us, as well as open up critical minerals. Tariffs is one of them. It's like, a couple projects out here in Nevada that, they're a run of mine heap leach operation, low grade. These tariffs could stifle opening up a mine like that because of the capital expenditure, where it's like we're handcuffing ourselves. And that's where I get back to shooting the elephant in different spots, to where the government might think they're helping. But are they really?
Well, and again, this is why we've kind of decided, hey, there's a reason to do a news segment. It's because you can bring up one or two big articles a couple times throughout the month and actually dive in and get people thinking or talking about it. So,
yeah, well, I will say the news segment, we haven't really decided on how that's going to look, but keep in mind, there might be some opinions in there on the offshoots of, hey, this is the news, but this is what we're thinking.
100%. That's what it's going to be. Like that. There's no,
there could be a little bit of conspiracy in there. You never know.
Well, so here's the thing.
But we're going to keep it authentic.
If you're going to put me, and the segment will be called The Pass Down, just so you guys know. We'll be working on branding and all kinds of different stuff for that, as well as the other ones. But the long and short of it is we're going to read the news and give you some news, but we're going to provide our opinions. That's really what it's going to be, is our thoughts on that. So stay tuned with that. With that, this is something that's probably mid-year next year, maybe Q1 of next year, but we're playing around with a newsletter. And so part of this is potentially bringing on somebody to support some of these things.
You guys can just fill the room, filling up with hours right now, to where I will throw that out there. If anybody feels like raising their hand and donating time, I'm kidding. But we're going to need some help, and hopefully that's Mining Minds is going to be expanding into being able to do a little bit more than what we're doing.
Well, I think the reason, again, we've thought about some of these things is because the way we interpret or try to bring value to people is on a more realistic level, a real level. So you might be getting some of this, but there's realness, there's authenticity inside of that. So that's our intent, right? Is like, how can we, because you read a lot of this stuff and it's regurgitated, or it's, it's left or right or up or down. And so
you don't know what to believe.
Sure. And so giving you guys some real information from people inside the industry and have good conversations. So
one thing I don't want to miss, man, that I definitely want to highlight in the 200 shows is the move. We changed studios, and it took us some months and one fight, and like almost fist fight in the kitchen to get our studio done. But not only am I proud of the studio that we built, but I'm going to be biased here, but I do think this is probably the coolest mining memorabilia room plus podcast that we could have built. I mean, everything, we did it ourselves, from the shotcrete in here to the wood and the steel beams. Everything's been built, man. And we get an awesome area for you to do your business, but we also get an awesome area to kind of showcase the thought that we had going into this. It's not, hey, we're renting a space somewhere. It's hand built. And but to be honest with you, man, I mean, we're doing it for the legacy of Dad, and to see what we've done and reflect. We've done a lot of cool stuff, and just super proud of the big move that we did here. And we get a badass place to talk shit with people.
100%, man. And we're not going to do this on every 100th episode, but there's been a lot of milestones in this last one. And we've talked about coming up this year. And the first 100th episode, we tried reaching out to every one of our guests and inviting them up for a dinner, get together before the Mine Expo. So we'll probably do that again this year. I guess I would say is, I echo everything that you say, man. Every milestone's important to us, and we don't take it for granted. So I echo, exactly. Your sentiment.
We still got to talk your wife into letting us finish out the rest of the shop as more of the mining memorabilia room, because I think the future in my mind could be, we're going to have a gem show out there as well for the Mine Expo, to where people are going to be coming up.
Dino is full of ideas, and that's what keeps him busy, is running around chasing his ideas, because they're not bad. It's just, how do you juggle elephants? So,
so I'm just asking for support. If there's anybody out there that would be willing to come out and maybe help insulate or frame or donate a mucker 2 yard, just saying.
Don't, because somebody will, man. Our audience has been super phenomenal.
I'm going to throw this out there, though. I am looking for an ore cart. Whoever out there has an ore cart, I've got an idea for a stand-up bar table in our memorabilia room. We can put your company logo on it, whatever it is, but I want an ore cart specific to be able to build that stand-up bar table to finish out our memorabilia room.
So two things, and we should know this. So two things we're missing from our studio. One is a bar table where we can sit and have a couple drinks and bullshit before or after the podcast, because we've been wanting to do that. We haven't found the right thing, and we're not going to press it. We'll figure it out when it gets there and things progress. But if somebody is out there, the other thing, and this is going to be a big ask, is we got with some of the major, I would say, refuge chamber manufacturers, and tried to get an old refuge chamber here and actually set it up as a restroom, because we're missing a restroom. So if any of you guys out there are into helping support that cause, please let us know.
So keep this in mind, that we got to give them the detail on this. When you built the shop in your house, you had the forethought of the studio being in here to where everything's plumbed and ready for a hand wash station or sink and a restroom, to where we've got the place where we're going to cut the hole in the wall and put everything together to finish it out. So rail car and a refuge chamber
and a moon door to go into the refuge chamber.
Yeah. Not huge ask, but if you guys want to be a part of the podcast.
No, dude, that's how you manifest some stuff, is just get it out there and have that conversation.
Hey, you never know.
A couple more things, dude, before we get out of here. We talk about being busy. I do some stuff on the consulting side. I do have quite a few people that work with me, whether it's safety and health, business development. We're getting on to the processing side, the finance side. Again, it's those connections that we're making that people, and again, our network, JSR and Jerry Reinerson, he's out there training people, building workforce development from the mining, from the face.
Well, what he's doing is taking his 35, 37 years of being in the business.
Global experience.
Yes. And what he's doing before he retires is he's sharing that.
Yeah.
Not only does he build operational standards and training programs, but he actually implements and trains the people physically
in face or
in the trucks, in the shovels, in the dozers, to where that's one of the cool things that I've seen you put together, is how what we're trying to do with that, or the understanding is we're trying to get the best of the best guys that have the knowledge like that to be a trusted resource in the industry, to where we're sharing standardized training and safety and succession plans to make the industry better.
Yeah. And you guys will see that network portion of our website grow. That's something we should highlight too, is the reason that you might not know or see the safety consulting on our website or some of these others that I've mentioned is you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time. And
we just got our store put up.
Well, that's another success. We fought for years to figure out on the back end how to build a website, how to do this, do that. And we're finally starting to get there.
Well, we've had people brass in because we have people looking at the website and they're asking about high vis and reflective, and we'll grow into that for sure. But what we're for my idea right now, and still trying to push it through Grover, is making mining fashionable clothes to where you're supporting mining, but it still looks good to wear every day. You know, I'm wearing my shirt today. I actually like them. I mean, cool shirts, good designs. And really I'm getting design ideas from a ton of different people, to where it takes time. It's not a lot of work, but to refine a design and actually put it to print and then buy it and bring it out and try it on and have everybody give us their input. It's just a process.
Well, and not only that, we got to order a couple to make sure the quality control QA/QC is there, right? And
yeah, and at the end of the day, when you're buying it all, it's like, okay, we can only buy so much because we've got these things coming up, you know, to where we're on a tighter budget, which is okay. But we're trying to do the right things for the right reasons.
Yeah. So check out our website. And again, give us some feedback. The network's going to be up there. You guys are going to start seeing that growing. It's going to evolve. It's going to continue to grow. Two more things I had to mention before we I don't know if we're going to wrap this up or not, but two more things I was going to mention one was the coloring book. So food for thought, we got a series of coloring books coming out. There's a long-term 2 to 5 year plan with that. But right now, what we've really done is take a concept and have my son working on from a 12, 13-year-old perspective, a coloring book. And then I have a 6 and a 7-year-old too. So we get a little bit of feedback from them if this is cool, not cool. But the idea is to help educate the young kids through initially a coloring book thing. So
it gets them involved in mining right now.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, that'll be end of the year, end of 2025. We'll start rolling that out. We are going to see if people want to sponsor, but really it's that beginning education portion for the kids coming up.
Yeah. Or if any of you out there know of a publishing company that would want to work with us to get this thing completed. These are all things that are industry wide, that we're going, hey, we want to be that one source to go coloring books for the kids that in all the mining regions. Yeah. Mining Minds has got something super cool. And what's the guy's name? The little dude.
Digger?
Yeah. Digger.
So we got Digger, Molly, Jim, and Boomer.
Yeah, Boomer's the old guy. He's like 10, but he's got a mustache. I love it. No, but the super cool idea. And I do want to let everybody know, like, how cool I think it is that you've got your kids into not only helping you with the business, but you're opening up their minds to creativity, holding them accountable to where it's been pretty cool to see how you're putting this together, because there's life lessons in it for your kids, and not a lot of people do that, man. So good job on that.
Thanks, dude. Well, that's really what, to me, if this never works out, what did we get out of this journey that we're on, man? If we can teach, I teach my kids budget schedules or time budgets is what we do. Is basically you planning out your week or you're planning out your time, and this falls right into line with that, dude. And do you want to help? And it lets them be creative, and it lets them answer to somebody who's quote unquote a boss and has a direction to go, but gives them the freedom to conceptually make it entertaining or beneficial for them. And yeah, dude, the more we can involve those around us, in my opinion, the better the product we're going to get. It takes longer and it's a little bit more work at times, but to me, it's 100% better when you can do that.
Yeah, well, it's not like we're advocating for the industry and saying, hey, we got to do this for the kids, and like we're doing this at home.
Yeah,
and we're taking it into our everyday life in the mining industry.
I don't ever sell one of those, and they will be on our website as well.
Yeah, we'll be coloring every Thanksgiving, bro.
I was gonna say my kids and my grandkids, and you know what I mean. So it's not wasted. It's for me. It's like, yeah. At the end of the day, this is something that we've got to build. And then probably not the last thing, but the one thing that I can remember is really working on military to mining. So Jason's not here; he wasn't able to make it. But Jason's just getting done. I would want to congratulate him. He's just getting done with his master's degree. So he's
the busiest dude ever.
He's active military, captain in the military. He is a father who's got kids in college, kids in elementary school. You know what I mean? So he's a busy
Don't
dude.
ask about the gap.
And he's busy, but long story short, I want to congratulate him, but he's on the back end along with people like Ben Powell and Brent Adams and a lot of these guys.
Our network that we've met or have known in the industry or are part of our network as we've built the industry or our network in the industry, right?
Matt Hillard jumped in.
Yeah.
You know,
And what a cool thing, from my opinion, for Jason to take this project on, because it hits home to him, but it's something that the mining industry needs, but it's also an outlet that the military, the guys and women that are looking for the camaraderie, that's what we get to offer. Not just mining mines, but the industry as a whole is the camaraderie and a safe space for them to come in and produce and be productive citizens once they get out of the military.
so that is the concept, and I'll walk you maybe guys through where it started. So Ben had made a pretty profound statement. He said, you know, the mining and my wife, if I didn't have those two, I don't know where I would be today. And I talk to him probably once every couple months, and every time we talk, he talks about one of his battle buddies not making it home or committing suicide or something along those lines. And so it's really important to him and the others that we've talked about. But really what that got us to thinking is, how do we help support this?
Yeah.
And so our intent and what our plan and our business plan for our mind plan for this is really to get those individuals coming out of the military, giving them an avenue and people to communicate with on I guess, types of work that are similar to what they did in the military, or something that's maybe not similar, but they're interested in. So we'll be doing presentations with these groups. We'll be having information for these groups. And Jason's been spearheading a lot of that. And then on the back end, we're going to work with the HR people out there to say, what are your needs from the mine site? This is a person that we've quote unquote vetted or had a conversation with, and we think there'll be a good fit. And
we're generating a pool of people from our network, from the things that we're doing to help supply the industry, right?
Yeah.
We're building that opportunity funnel for HR groups to pull from, guys, ladies, or companies like Praying Company, you know, to where it's not just, hey, we're trying to do this all by ourselves. We came up with the idea. We're going to be the funnel, but we're also going to be asking for help, right? So where if people want to hop in and help with suggestions or help facilitate different things, definitely reach out. I mean, because the program is going to manifest, but the idea that you guys have had with this is phenomenal. And guys like Ben Powell that have given the information and helped us out up to this point, very, very thankful and grateful for that.
Yeah. And then on our website, again, eventually will be a whole military to mining section. So people like, Matt Lucas with Fishing with Vets or Bob, Stearns up in Minnesota that volunteer their time to help veterans. Those are going to be on there for resources and for options for people, man.
Yeah. And Fishing with Vets, dude, it was awesome. Sorry. I was just
going to say that really the intent of it is to help serve those who've served.
Yeah. And really, I mean, these are two guys that are trying to shoot the elephant in different spots, but if we can bring them together at certain times, more gets built out of that, which is cool.
Yeah. A lot. We got a lot going on. So you guys ask what the hell you've been doing?
Yeah. And I know right now we went through a lot of stuff and a lot of, there's a lot that goes into the 200 podcasts that we didn't mention. One thing I do want to mention is a thank you to our families.
Yeah. 100%.
Our wives and our kids. I get, I'm busy all the time, and I might not spend the right amount of time with my family when I need it or whatever, because I've got work and my hands in a bunch of different things. But they support, right? And it's important for us to be able to let you guys know that we have a lot of support on the back end to continue to do what we do, because we are two busy dudes that don't stop. If we're not doing our day jobs, we're not doing the podcast. There's things that we're trying to do to enhance the shop to turn it into the memorabilia room in the future. There's just a lot of stuff.
There absolutely is. I think that, I want to thank not just our immediate family, but our extended family, man. they're supporting us by, buying a T-shirt or grabbing a tumbler online.
And Cindy, thank you.
Right. But those are the little things that allow us to continue to do this. I hope there never comes a day where we have to hang up the hat and brass out for the last time
And go back to work.
Yeah, that's not the intent, right?
No.
So I hate to say this when we're thanking everybody, but if you guys are companies out there and you're looking to do something, know that we're pretty picky. But we usually, when we do business or when we make friends, they're lifelong friends. I know
Absolutely.
the people that we have. So thank you to everybody. I can't thank you guys enough. We won't do these every 100. This won't be every 100 episode type of thing, but I think it's important for us to sit back, reflect, and I appreciate you, man. Working through all this stuff. We still got a ton more to go through, but for everybody out there, for Dino, thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Adios.
Peace.
All trucks are rolling, steel boots stomping, engines humming like a prayer in the morning. Dust clouds rising on a cold sunrise, headlamps cutting through Nevada skies. Coffee in the cab, got a long day coming. Clock in, crank up, keep them drills humming. Brothers and sisters in the same old fight, chasing that bonus under halogen light. We ain't looking for fame or glory, we're the backbone telling our story. Boots on gravel, hearts and lines, sweat and soul in overtime. We're the voice inside the industry, mighty minds where the real ones speak. From the pit to the plant to the families waiting, hard work built the world we're making. Hands of iron, hearts of gold, stories of pride that need to be told. Grover and Dino keep the truth alive, mighty minds where the real ones thrive. Radio chat, a copy that load, long nights driving down that road. Families home with the porch light burning, praying safe for the crew returning. We talk pain, we talk hope, mental battles and the way folks cope. Ain't no shame in showing that heart, it's what keeps this whole thing started. Boots on gravel, hearts and lines, sweat and soul in overtime. We're the voice inside the industry, mighty minds where the real ones speak. From the dust to the dawn, we keep moving strong for the new generation to carry on. Hands of iron, hearts of gold, stories of pride that never get old. Grover and Dino keep that light in me, mind and mind, the voice inside the industry. Hey, oh, hey, oh. Turn the mic up loud, let the miners talk, make their families proud. Hey, oh, hey, oh. From the shaft to the sea, every ton we pull writes history. We're the voice inside the industry, mighty minds where the truth runs free. For the ones on the ground and the ones at home, we keep that heartbeat rock and stone. Hands